Hello, my friends. I want to speak today from a place of real inspiration. The satsang that we recently had was so beautiful because the conversation, the exploration that we engaged in was with students who are students of themselves, people who have been really staying with the work, off and on, coming and going to some degree. But with those who have given themselves to this study of self, this self-study. Who am I really? What is the full dimensionality of my being? And this stuff works. I'm working on a book right now, and if I were to write a second book, it might very well be titled, Damn, this shit really works. And how do we know it works? Because what I was observing in them, which is the same thing I've experienced, and the same thing I experience in a lot of the people I work with, was that there was a inner peace. There was a stability of peace. There was an equanimity of grace, which is truth, like a through line of a stability, of being able to meet life, meet our own minds, conditions, our old programming, our old reactive ways, to be free of a lot of the reactivity and to be rested in a more even grace. This stuff works. And I want to bring it up today because it's just a reminder. If we want to awaken from the deep dream of the mind and all of its opinions and judgments and beliefs, it's going to take some attention. It's going to take some intention. It's going to take some work, some practice, some deliberate inquiries, self-inquiries, and meditations, deliberate catching of the reactive ways, and learning how to stop and return to our breath and let the breath guide us into the essential nature of being that we already are, that we are seeking. So I've done a number of videos around this. There's one called You Cannot Wing Awakening. You can't just wing it. That would be like wanting to become a symphony concert piano player and playing a little piano and saying, oh, I'll get there. Oh, who are you studying with? Oh, no, I'm not going to study. I'm not going to really devote myself to that. I'll just play more piano. I'll try better. I'll try harder. That wouldn't get you there. So part of the invitation here today is to ask yourself again, what is it that you want? Why are you here? Why are you here? What do you want? And I'll kind of cut to the chase in this. Typically, when I pursue this line of questioning with anybody, ultimately what we come to is, I want inner peace. I want to be at peace. Because that is the foundation of everything else. We're typically living life a bit backwards. One might say, I want to be more confident, less anxious. Well, I want to be more confident. They think that once I'm confident, I'll be at peace. Let's flip that. Once I know my essential nature of being as being safe, as being whole, as already being peace, coming from there, natural confidence. I want more clarity about how to handle this and how to handle that. I want more clarity about how to move in the world. And once I have that, I'll be at peace. No, flip it around. Oh, quiet the noise of the doubts and the uncertainties and the needs and the attachments and the chasing and the seeking and the grasping. Quiet that. Come to know your essential peace, your inherent peace of being, and you will have so much more clarity. How can we follow our truth and our love if we're so busy, occupied in the judgments and opinions and beliefs of the conditioned and programmed mind? We can't. We're listening to the directives of a fear-based, lack-based identity. So, typically what we want is peace. It's the foundation that we can build upon anything we want. We can build anything we want upon a stable, genuine inner peace, the peace that we already are. So it takes showing up, studying, engaging, journaling, meditating, writing, participating here in the Oasis with comments and questions, and thoughts, and curiosities. Because a lot of this is also building a new language. We want you to be fluent in your spirituality. We want you to be fluent in the knowing of your whole dimensionality, both the personal self that is often getting in the way of the whole self, the spiritual self. You want to know the full dimensionality, and that comes with a languaging that you start to become more familiar with and that you start to use with more authenticity. So early in this work, I might have heard the phrase, the essential nature of being, and I maybe used it. Oh, I'm trying to get back to my essential nature of being, because that kind of sounds good. But I didn't really feel it. Now, it's just, I know exactly what that means. When I use those words, I use them referencing the grace, the boundlessness, the wholeness of being that is the direct experience that I have. So my friends, what do you want? Why do you want it? You may look and you go, you know what, if I really had this equanimity of peace, I wouldn't be scrambling so much. Life maybe wouldn't be such a roller coaster. I could feel things and experience things and have the full dynamic richness of a human life without getting so caught up in the stories and so lost in the experiences. I could remain at peace in the full spectrum of a human life. You may want that. And if you want that, it's going to take discipline. It's going to take showing up. It's going to take engagement. It's going to take practice. And it's going to take meeting your own egoic resistance that lies to you. This isn't for me. This is for other people. I can't. I don't have the ability. I guess I'm just screwed. I guess I'm just stuck in the world of trying to tame the mind, of trying to get the mind to be more peaceful as often as I possibly can. And the truth is, with patience and with practice and with devotion and a real willingness to say, this is what I want, you can have it. You can have that peace, because you are that peace. This is the beautiful thing. You are this peace. And I'll wrap up here today by just reminding you that, you've heard this before, but I'll say it again. True awakening, really embodying the awakened grace of what you already are, takes about 5 to 10 years of dedication. It doesn't take 5 to 10 years just hoping it'll happen, but of study and of practice and of engagement and exploration and curiosity and deep self-inquiry. 5 to 10 years. It's worth it. I can't imagine anything else that's more worth it. We would put that kind of energy into studying if we were really into art or playing a musical instrument or learning a language or doing anything that we really wanted to do well. We'd put in the time. But here we are in this wild, dynamic journey of navigating an egoic identity that is a construct of coping mechanisms and awakening our true boundless spiritual nature. You know, that's an intense, wild, complex, and yet simple journey that most people aren't going to give themselves to. And yet here we are on this incredible journey. Are you going to take full advantage of it? It's worth it. Trust me. Trust me. It is worth it. Imagine, just take a moment and imagine. What if you truly had an equanimity of grace and peace that was just awakened and shining brightly in the background of all experience, so you didn't get so lost in the tumultuous nature of a life, but you could experience it all while remaining at peace. That's what's possible. But it will not happen on its own. And it takes effort and devotion and dedication and study and engagement and frustration and not believing your own mind attacks when the mind says you can't, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not capable enough. That's not true. That's just the ego protecting itself, because it feels so afraid and separate that it feels like if it went away with its defenses, that it would be destroyed, that all the pain would come rushing in, all the difficulty, all the destruction would come rushing in that it's protecting against. And the truth is, when it lets go, anything can happen. And it's not destructive, and it doesn't have such pain, and there's no suffering in it because it's being received, life is being received by an equanimity of grace, of wholeness, of boundless love that can meet anything, that can have any experience in life and not be destroyed by it. All right, my friends, so much love. And thank you for being here. I hope to see you in satsang. It's a beautiful place to have these conversations, to go deeper. And I'll just remind you, there are students in this work who are conveying, wow, I'm sticking with it, and it works. I'm sticking with it, and it works. What a beautiful thing. I want to add a little addendum to this last lesson about sticking with it. I was watching an interview with Anthony Hopkins, and the interviewer asked, if you had one piece of advice for anybody, a piece of life advice, what would it be? And he said, without hesitation, he said, don't give up. If you want something that's maybe difficult, challenging, hard, lofty, seems initially out of reach, don't give up. If you really want it, don't give up. Take the full journey. And I guarantee you, anybody who's living out a dream, if you will, who's living out a fullness of life, they would all tell you the same thing. It wasn't easy. I got lost along the way. There were times I wanted to give up, but I didn't. And I would not have arrived at where I am today and where I'm still going if I had given up, if that was part of the MO. So don't give up. Don't give up. It's hard. It's confusing at times. It's not easy. We're waking up from lifetimes of being asleep in an ego identity that is a construct. It's not easy until it is. So that's one of my mentors. She is passed now, but she used to say the most beautiful thing to me. We'd be in the work in different ways, and I'd be really meeting up with some of my personal demons and difficulties and beliefs, judgments, opinions about me and about life. And I would say, God, Mary, this is so hard. And she would say with such love and such knowing, she would say, yes, 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 it is. Until it's not. Until it's not. And that's what I experienced in this last satsang, are people who are sticking with this and going, wow, it's not as hard as it used to be. There's a threshold that gets crossed, and now it's getting easier. And now it's getting easier. Wow, now it's getting easier. Maybe you'll hit a rough patch again, but stick with it. And then it'll get easier, and then it'll get easier. And at some point, it's not hard anymore. Back to that piano analogy. Imagine somebody playing just this very complicated, difficult piano concerto, right? Just nailing it, playing it with such ease and grace. And somebody might say, wow, how do you get there? How do you learn to play with such ease and grace? And they would say, it was hard. It was hard. But it was worth it because I wanted it. And now look at this beautiful music I get to play. So if you want to play the beautiful music of your own life with more grace and ease and clarity and confidence and love, then stay with it. Awaken the love that you already are. That takes a while. But you stick with it, and it'll happen. All right. Bye-bye.